So this is, why wouldn't you want to be part of it?
100%.
Just go all in.
Let's
Just
go.
Do it.
Let's
Just go.
Hey, everybody, this is Brandon Dawson. Welcome back to another episode of the Dawson Show, where I spend my time, energy, and effort interviewing thought leaders, people who are crushing it in business, personally, professionally, and financially. Thank you for watching the show. I'm going to introduce my next guest. Actually, I'm going to have himself introduce. Omar, introduce yourself. This is your camera right here. Tell people who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
All right. Thank you for having me, by the way. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Omar. I'm with the engineering company. I founded this company May of last year, and with all the support from Brandon. And just last year itself, we launched this business. Okay, I'm getting excited.
I'm getting excited. This is not your show, Omar.
I know.
This is not your show. Okay, let me ask the questions. You answer them, because I know you're going to go straight, because you know what I love about you? You're a get-it-done kind of guy. Okay, so look, before we tell everybody what you were going to tell them, first and foremost, I want to say you're the first of the thousands of businesses we worked with. You're the first person that came to me, because you're in the community and you were in with a different business. You're the first business owner that came to me. And I want to make sure people on this show understand the difference between most people that start businesses and an entrepreneur. Most people start businesses because they don't want a boss. They don't want to be told what to do. They don't want a limitation on how much they can earn. They're not happy where they're at. So what they choose to do is go start a business. Michael Gerber talks about this in EMIS. 70% of all businesses were started by a technician who didn't want to have a job, not by an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs start businesses with this big plan in mind. Like, I want to get big. I want to have this number of employees. I want to dominate this sector, this industry, this marketplace. I want to grow this way. I want to make this kind of money. I want a market value of X, Y, and Z. That's what entrepreneurs do. Okay. So you come to me and you're like, hey, I want to start a business. I'm an engineer. I want to start a business, and I'm going to pay you to platform a business I haven't even started yet. So you were the first person who's ever paid us to engineer your engineering business using our business principles. And you launched that business. We delivered that plan to you. When did we deliver that? April or May?
Yeah.
And you're like, I got my keys. I'm ready to go. I got my plan. Now, tell everybody between May and December in your startup what you did.
We did $1 million.
$1 million. So when people go like, in 10 years, I want to build $1 million business. You're like, you know what? I don't want to wait 10 years. I want to do it now. And I want a plan that shows me exactly how to do it. You already had the technical skill. You just didn't have the business planning aspect of it. So you did $1 million in your startup in 7 months. What are you going to do in 2022?
2022, my platform right now shows $3 million. So we have a target for $3 million. And right now we are on track to do between 2 and 2.5.
There you go. So, your momentum's just getting going. You've only been in business now 12 months. And if you look at your momentum, month over month momentum, 3 million is absolutely conceivable this month. You agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And what would you say to people that are listening to this? Say, okay, wait a minute. So this guy paid a couple $100,000 to engineer his business model before he even put a key in the door or ran a first ad to say, hey, I'm Omar and I'm in business. And already in the first 7 months, you do $1 million, and this year you have a shot between $2.5 and $3 million. What would you say to people that think building businesses is hard?
Well, I'll tell you that everything changes when you make the commitment. So when you commit yourself and you go all in, like you mentioned this morning, and you go all in, all of a sudden you're going to start treating your business as a real business, and you're going to start making decisions that are the right decisions for your business, right? Before I made the investment, I was hedging, right? And I was like, well, maybe I do, and I see if it works out. And if it doesn't work out, then maybe I do something else. But right when I talk to you, I remember coming to you and I say, hey, Brandon, today's my first day. I'm pre-revenue. What do I do? And you were like, are you going to be doing the same thing that you know how to do? I say, yes. Do you have the technical skills? I say, yes. Do you have data? Yes. Okay, so all I need is your commitment and that you pay for this. And I said, all right, let's go. And that's how we started. And that moment, that moment, I went home and I didn't sleep that night. Or next day I woke up and I'm like, I just got to make this happen. Because I just committed to platform the business and just everything changed.
For the people watching the show that don't know what platform means, at Cardone Ventures, we have a program where entrepreneurs, business owners come to us. They pay us a considerable amount of money to reverse engineer their business model, their business case, architect their plans, and then give them the step-by-step process of how to build, scale, grow, and eventually exit their business, along with what the valuations will be, so that when you start something, you do it with the intention of knowing what kind of value you want to create, which is completely contrary to how most people start businesses. They just start them and they just keep hoping they get bigger, which is why 31.5 million businesses in the United States, 25 million still have one employee, the business owner who founded the business, who's still trying to figure out how to make enough to pay themselves a salary. Most of those business owners' average median payroll for themselves is $78,000 a year. It's barely ahead of the average median household. So look, if you're sitting there going, how do you build a massive business? How do you eliminate the potential for failure? You got to have a plan. You got to have a strategy. And that plan and strategy should probably come from somebody that's demonstrated they know how to do it. And that's what you said. You came, you saw it, and you're like, you know what? I want to know exactly how to do it. Hey, if you want to get on the roof, the fastest way is probably put a ladder that'll reach the roof against the side of the house, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right.
And you just go run one ring at a time, or run one rung. How do you say that?
Yeah. That sounds good to me.
Yeah. So big picture, 5 years, 10 years out. How big are you building this business?
Right now, we have a 10-year strategy to go to $250 million.
And that's already mapped out for you.
Oh, yeah, 100%, month by month.
That's the top rung of the ladder. You have a plan from zero, or from 1 million to 250 million.
From zero.
Over 10 years. And the plan tells you step by step by step what you need, what assets you need, what resources you need, what kind of people you're going to need, what kind of compensation they're going to need to make, like all the way to $250 million. How much easier when you have a clear, concise picture of your avatar of your perfect client, the persona that you want them to receive when you message to them, the type of people you want to transact with, the type of contracts you want to get, the type of people that have those like how much easier is it when you've got a box with 1,000 puzzle pieces and you dump the puzzle pieces out and you can look at the box picture and start building your puzzle versus no picture and no idea how many pieces you have?
Well, to tell you, like for me personally, is day and night. And one of the most valuable things and one of the best things that I look up to you is the stability that I get by knowing that I have this platform and I have the support of the Cardone Ventures teams for everything I encounter, right? So having that stability behind me just makes me a much better leader, just going after projects and going after things and taking bigger risks. And just knowing that if I encounter something, I have an authority right in my back that I can just turn and I can say, hey, I encountered this. And chances are that 99.99% of the time, you're going to say, hey, yeah, I've seen that. This is how we fix it. Boom, 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 boom. And we move. So that speed to action and knowing that I have some stable data to rely on and an authority behind me just makes me a much better leader going after my goals.
And who do you call when you need that information?
Oh, I call the Cardone Ventures teams.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about when you know that you can call and have designated experts that are working for you basically, right? They're an extension of your management team. Tell everybody listening to this what that engagement sounds like and what your regular engagement with us is.
Right. So basically what I have right now is a team of a C-suite that otherwise I wouldn't be able to afford at the size that my business is at right now. So I have that C-suite that is available to me by Cardon Ventures that will support me with finance, with operations, with scaling, with marketing, with human resources. And that team is looking at my business on a weekly basis, holding me accountable, and then making sure that we are executing per the platform, which is that 10-year business plan that was developed specifically for my business. So that's what, when I talk about stability, that's the stability that the Cardon Ventures teams provides for my business.
And what's it like to be able to pick up the phone and call if you got a finance question or a marketing question or operations question or a people question or a strategies question? What's it like to be able to just pick up the phone and call just like you would call your own CFO or you'd call your own EVP of marketing? To be able to pick up the phone, have a dialogue, have a strategy session, and then have them go execute on your behalf. How much faster can you move as a business owner?
Way faster. I mean, you can just execute. You can just execute because you know you got stability behind you. So you can just move fast towards a target. You can attack faster.
So what he's saying, for those of you that don't understand our operating system, so people pay us to engineer their business model, and then they hire us to be their 5-function operating team: marketing, human resources, professional development, finance, and marketing, operations, professional development, human resources, and finance, the 5-function team. And that team, the team that built your platform, delivered it to you, then coordinates with that team and hands off all the little granular operating things that need to happen over the course of the next 10 years to get to 250 million. And effectively, for the price of what it would cost you for one employee, one executive employee, you get that whole team working for you, with you, on your behalf, against your plan with you, with all that loaded onto our architectural strategy in our systems here, so that it's telling you like turn left, turn right, kind of like a GPS, right?
Exactly.
How much faster can you move when you have that resource?
Well, you can move much faster because you eliminate a lot of bad data, a lot of bad information. And Grant talks about this all the time. It's like there is so much bad data and bad advice, not only from like ill-intentioned people, but there's some people that they actually love you and care for you. And this may be people that are around you and family members that they may be giving you advice, and sometimes you don't know what to do. But just by having this stability and having people that have done it before and people that are led by a team that is producing results and it's expanding and it's growing, then you just know that you can move faster towards the target, towards the opportunity.
Well, you and I have talked a lot about confidence and the importance of confidence when building a business. And if you're not confident, it's really difficult to make good decisions.
Yeah.
When you're highly confident, you can be in attack speed. Attack speed is where you remove time and money out of the equation and you get to the target faster. Talk a little bit about the level in which you feel you're operating on in attack speed mode. Like, is it more or less stressful than what you were doing before in your life when it came to work?
It's less stressful, like significantly less stressful. Yeah, 100%. And it's just because knowing that I have that plan laid out and knowing that that plan is based on what's out there in the market right now, I'm basically making decisions right now based on the size of the opportunity, right? And what's available for what I'm doing in the market. So there was a research team that went out there. They looked at my specific market, the projects that I'm going after. They look at the different capital improvement plans of the different municipalities that I'm working with right now. And then they develop this strategy based on what's available. and they said, this is what's available to you if you use this, if you have this penetration within your market. And then they lay out the different types of penetration, the different size of projects. And all this data is just showing me when you execute at this pace with this penetration and in these markets with these targets, you're gonna get here. So it's just a matter of executing, just putting my head down and executing that plan that was already developed, and having a C-suite team that is holding me accountable to go ahead and hit those targets. Because sometimes it's a very simple question. Like, I was talking to your finance manager yesterday, and all of a sudden I'm like bogged down with like projects and things and just
overwhelmed.
Yeah, overwhelmed because there's a lot going on. And she just went out, opened up the computer, she looked at my model for the next 10 years, and she just asked me, what's your average size project right now? I said, well, my average size project just went up from $36,000 when we started the platform to $75,000.
Double. Because of the way that we matrixed your business.
Exactly. She just went ahead and she's like, okay, so you need to be able to hit your $3 million. You need to have 36 or 36 more projects this year. That will come down to 5 more projects every month. How many projects do you got in the pipeline right now for this month? And what is your certainty that you're going to be able to close those jobs? Just by her presenting that information to me in that way, I was able to digest it, and I was able to see what I needed to do in this specific moment to be able to hit those 5 projects. But by thinking about the $3 million on the 34 and the thing, like I was just overwhelmed with the data. It's just having that information and asking you the right questions, because she has the data and she understands business and she understands what kind of questions to ask to get me to a point that I can see.
And then she's working with the marketing function on that team to make sure that we adjust your promotion to go after the avatar of the client. I mean, you already said it. You moved your average transaction from 36 to, we already doubled it, to 72. And now we're going to look at your top 20% and see the ones that are spending 80, 90, 100. And we'll even shuffle your avatar target to try to eke the 72 to 80 or 90. So this game is a game of pruning your trees and harvesting. And it's like a farmer, right? The farmer has a certain routine they go through every single year. And to be honest with you, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine being a farmer for 30 or 40 years doing the exact same thing every single day for 30 or 40 years. But when you're a business owner, having that discipline and consistency is what allows the crops to grow and flourish. And if you abandon that, you're at risk. And so pruning those trees, you know, for me it was the walnuts. We get a bumper crop and the trees would sag, and I'd be like, whoa. My dad would say, you got to go cut those branches. We have to sacrifice some of those walnuts so it doesn't split the tree and kill the orchard, right? And so in business, sometimes you got to sacrifice the lower valued business so that you have the ability to have time to go get the bigger valued business. And it's a game of doing that over time. And as you start getting these bigger contracts, your confidence goes through the roof and your reputation, because you can actually deliver on it. Dude, I'm so proud of you. I cannot wait. Like, we're going to update this podcast, I don't know, every 12 or 18 months, right? And one of the things you know about me, because we've worked together long enough, is unlike a lot of these people that just sell bullshit. You know, they're out on social media telling people they'll help them grow and scale. They're out saying that they got the fancy whatever, or they got this tech, or they've got this concept, or they've got their social media that'll do it, or they got whatever. You've seen them all come and go in our ecosystem. The thing that I love, and that you know I always do, I validate the data. So I would just encourage anybody that's listening to this, like, oh, there's no way a guy started a business from scratch, did $1 million, is going to do $2.5 million to $3 million, has a plan to $250,000. These guys are full of shit. You and I both know that for me is an invitation for a conversation. So if anybody wants to dispute Omar's numbers, you better have your numbers together, because I know we got his together. And I know what the data, the facts, the bank accounts, the deposits, and the checks, I know what they say. You know that to be true, don't you?
I do. I do. I do.
Any last things you want to say to encourage my listeners on what it's like to be an entrepreneur that is absolutely crushing it?
Well, I tell you, like, just make the decision to crush it and to have stability and get the right data, get the right information from people that have done it in the past. One of the biggest lessons that I learned when I started working with you was that the algorithm of business is the algorithm of business, whether you do roofing, you do civil engineering services for municipal agencies, which that's what I do, by the way. That I got too excited at the beginning. I didn't even say what I do, but that's what I do. I'm simplifying my message to say I engineer roads and pipes. That's what I do, keeping it simple, keeping it to the ground. So whatever your business is, restaurant, dentist, real estate, HVAC, the algorithm of business is the same across the business. The breakpoints are the same. Like right now, this morning, we're in a room full of 100 different business owners, and they are all experiencing the same issues over and over again. So don't get hung up on that you are so niche that the things that are happening are just happening in your particular business and nobody else understand, and you've done it for 30 years, yada, 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 this and that. Just allow yourself the opportunity to crush it. Spend time with card inventors and hear them out. Hear what they have to say and put yourself in a position to ask, how could this apply to my business? Rather than saying, oh, that doesn't apply to my business, and just shutting down, because the moment you say that, there's something you don't understand about it, right? So just have that self-reflection point on how could this apply to my business, and get close to power.
Yeah, that's right. Like that's what I did with Grant Cardone. That's what you're doing with me and Grant. You're getting within proximity of people that you want to emulate and duplicate their success. That's the secret to success.
That's it.
Collaboration is the new currency.
100%. Collaboration is the new currency. Just draft. I'm just drafting. I'm just drafting right behind you because you're crushing it.
Yeah.
You're crushing it. I appreciate seeing you guys crushing it. I appreciate seeing Grant crushing it. Like there's nothing better than seeing your mentors crushing it like in such a big way, and you having the ability to be part of it. And the best way to be part of it is by succeeding with your principles and your materials.
That's 100%. And what people also don't know is once you start getting your plans and the way we formulate it, all of a sudden we start connecting you to other partners that we've done the same work for, that all of a sudden new business ideas come out, new concepts come out, new things come out. And your ability to engineer roads, bridges, whatever, municipalities, and go in and put all their infrastructure. It's kind of what I do for businesses. Like it's basically I engineer the roads and the plumbing and the safety features and the fires protocols, and I build it all in so that you can have a robust environment that is built for the next 30 years versus trying to keep up with where it's at today. In fact, this is a great analogy. So many crumbling infrastructures right now in our country. And then you go to a place like Dubai or even Phoenix where I live. They engineered Phoenix to be highly efficient for 50 years. I can get around anywhere in Arizona here. The way they put the road systems in, how beautiful the highways are, the roads are always in perfect shape. You can cut north and south, east and west. You can go diagonal and cut time out of the equation. It's one of the most efficient and they engineered it before there was a building here. Same with Dubai, right? And so when you think about it, your business is the same way. If you engineer your business for the next 50 years, you'll have a much better environment than if you wing it every day, or if you're trying to rehab a 50-year-old infrastructure.
100%. 100%. And now when you're trying to get that talent, right? At the end of the business is about people, right? Being able to have, like you mentioned this morning, which I love, is being able to show your people how to win, so that your people can be winning, and then the business is going to win because it's about people. So by having a plan laid out with processes, and then having your business engineer to go to $250 million business, you can present and better articulate the opportunity to that top talent so that you can start attracting top talent and you can stop being a victim of the bad employees that you have because you were not able to present the opportunity because you didn't know about it. You were just using previous experience, which was a failure, and whatever you saw in the industry to present the opportunity. So now take the responsibility as the owner of the business. Engineer your business for the next 10 years to what the opportunity is, and then present that to the industry, and you're going to start having employees that want to be part of it.
Yeah, because if you're just like, oh, I want to be a million, I'm just starting my business, people wouldn't take you serious. They'd be like, oh, I can't see myself succeed inside of that. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I put this plan together. I did $1 million in 6 or 7 months. I did 2.5, 3 million the second year. I did 8 to 12 million the third year. And now all of a sudden people are like taking you serious. They're like, this guy actually has a plan, and they can see themselves succeed long-term inside your business. So then you get people like, I want to go work somewhere where I can make $1 million in my career. I can make great money every year. I can have fun doing it. And you're like, let me show you exactly what I've done. Here's what the plan is, and here's the people I need, and here's what's in it for the ones that help me get all the way to the end. And now people can see themselves succeeding inside of you versus wandering around with you trying to figure out who's leading the ship.
It's just a beautiful. I get goosebumps just hearing you talk about, because that's exactly. I mean, you're just describing the algorithm for succeeding and crushing it. So it's just, why wouldn't you want to be part of it?
100%.
Just go all in.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it directly from my good friend, entrepreneur, founder of the Engineering Company. And you're hearing how and what success sounds like. Look, success always leaves clues. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the B. Dawson Show. We appreciate your attention, and we look forward to the opportunity to not only work with you, but serve you, and absolutely, like Omar says, crush it. We'll see you on the next show.